your main man. Now, today we speak about rules heavy games. Now, there's some games out there that are on the high end of the rules heavy spectrum. We always talk about the rules light games, and sometimes about the rules medium games. But rarely do we speak about the rules heavy games, and there's a few issues I have to take with you heavy ass games. Now, am I for rules heavy games? Oh, hell no. And I'm going to talk about why. Now, the rules system of a game should only be as heavy as is absolutely necessary to convey rules. Heavy rules are in no way a good thing. In no way can you actually simulate combat with rules. None of them are good at this. None of them are good at this. Combat is something vastly different than rolling a dice and dealing some damage, than hitting a location, than damaging armor. It's not what real combat is like. Not at all. Nor, really, does it even need to be the fictionalized, slick, fantasy, Hollywood romantic style of combat. Wonderfully works in an RPG. Yeah, you can make it gritty and real. But typically the way people play off in RPGs, combat doesn't come out like that. It's not like this massive, holy shit, fucking altering gimmick that someone shot at you. That fucks you up in real life. You understand? Oh, someone stabbed me, but I'm straight as a motherfucker. I got stabbed 8 times yesterday. The day I'm not even thinking about it. Fuck yeah, let's not even talk about the bandages on me. Fuck that bullshit. So, and that's just one aspect. The rule systems that put these together are absolute nonsense. Pick up Within the Ring of Fire, and your main man will teach you exactly how to put together combat to make it a lot better than any degree of complicated system is going to render with the dice rolling and the constant looking up of rules. And there's nothing worse than a game master, and then like fucking 25 minutes later, rules aren't that hard to rules are hard to write. Rules shouldn't be that hard to learn, to read, to have a full spectrum understanding of, particularly in more easy circumstances like dehydration, drowning, suffocation. These sorts of things shouldn't be incredibly difficult. They should be easy to do, easy to use. They certainly are when I write games. And those games succeed with people that want to role play. They succeed with people that want to describe, that want to embrace, that want to have the action, want to have the passion, want to have the fantasy, that want to have the mind's eye experience exploding in color. You understand what I'm talking about? So, for me, these ideas of rules-heavy games, even into the medium level, are completely unnecessary. I think that what the rules need to do are reward description, reward role-playing, reward adding and contributing to the game, to making the game better, to allowing you to have control over certain aspects in terms of where the game wants to do that. I mean, you're not saying it has to be here, or you can be over here or over here. There's all sorts of different ways that games do that, and giving a game master taking some burden off themselves and giving it to the player who is so greedy to have it, so much loves it, so much is getting extra spotlight from it, is a wonderful thing. You're saving your creativity, giving it to them to express theirs, and you're including them more in the game. And you can include every single player at your table in this way. Now, I mean, some brony might be like, oh, well, I have to... I suck at this, and everyone else should be rewarded. I saw a post the other day. My man, Wendell Sotomayor, pointed out to me that made me sick. You understand? Somebody mouthing off about how you shouldn't get extra experience points and some such things. I can't get with that. You want to reward people for proper play. And in these rules-heavy games, you have so many mechanics and so much. I mean, even with like something like a spaceship, it doesn't have to be that hard, you know. You just give it an amount of damage it could take. You give it an ability to integrate into a scene that is propelled by the rules to manage heavy amounts of description. You know, you can give it some kind of damage threshold. You can give it some ability to do damage should it have the capacity with whatever contraptions, you know, laser guns or disintegrating beams or, you know, beholder shooting cannons, whatever the fuck it has on it. Um, and put it together, and you'll see this exhaustive list of rule after rule after rule after rule that no game master, particularly one who doesn't run that genre all the time, that game all the time, is going to be able to remember. They're going to be like, oh, well, I have other things in my life. I can't remember a billion rules for that spaceship that we're going to fight with one time, and now it's a random time, which I hadn't anticipated because the players did something, and now I have to grind. You don't want it to grind to a halt. You want that to be extremely minimum. Sure, there'll be times in any game that you have to perhaps look something up, but that should be very, very unlikely, very uncommon versus a constant, particularly to the point where you're actually land. If you and then you're okay, you're good because a game master, you can buy yourself even a couple minutes, but usually by throwing stuff to your players, particularly if you have proactive players. But that'll run dry when you have. You're constantly your go-to is to get the players to handle these things. What you want to do is with these rule-heavy games, you know, they have strange mechanics and a rule for this that you have to look up, and particularly if the books are difficult to access, it can be very taxing and very difficult. So my official stance on rules-heavy games is that they're absolutely horrible. That you can, through a system that allows you to have collaborative narrative control as a player on a battlefield, you can facilitate through description the ability of handling combat a billion times better than any rule set could possibly bring it out. And that's because a rule set can't handle that. It doesn't matter if it allows you to shoot someone on their pinky nail, or they have 3 points of hit life on their pinky nail, and you only, you know, these things, they don't lead us to having that cinematic experience at all. They don't really lead us to. I've never had more fun in those sort of games. The people that perhaps like them don't really want a role-playing experience. They want that role-playing experience. They might be that sort of miniatures type of player. But overall, I have no use for them. And they make it amazingly hard to, like, it's almost impossible to attract new players to a hobby like that. And you might find somebody who really loves the mathematics of it, but that's going to be an extraordinarily rare individual. For an average player, you want to have the rules as streamlined, as fast, as easy to learn as possible. It's fun. You don't want to have exhaustive equipment list. These things are very, very bad, and they can certainly keep someone from wanting to get immersed into a game. They go, oh, that's not for me. You know, I want them right there. I want them role playing. I want the focus to be on the role playing, not on the role playing. So let me know what you think in the comments below about rules heavy games. And, you know, you can tell me why you feel we don't need them as well. As your main man says always, swing the axe, wear the blood, and in all times, be a barbarian.